So today I would like to highlight how we come to AlmaLinux. Yes, and I think we can shorten the talk a little bit because a lot of points we have already heard, but yes. No, it's working. Yes, short introduction what MEGWARE is doing. I am not sure if anybody of you has heard about MEGWARE. Then our way to AlmaLinux, and of course, I would like to highlight some top 500 references, what we have already done with AlmaLinux. We are established in 1999 after the German Union. The company was founded in a garage like a lot of other companies. Yes, and we have already installed a lot of cluster systems. Cluster systems here means, of course, small systems consisting of 4 nodes, but of course we have also done a lot of bigger projects with more than 1,000 nodes. And we are a fully HPC service provider in Germany, #1 in Germany, 2nd in Europe. Sometimes not working. So these are normally we are operating in the German region, also our neighbor countries like Austria, but also have done an installation in Norway. Yes, so yes, our way to AlmaLinux. So for historical reasons in the HPC environments, maybe some of you know there's an interconnect called InfiniBand, and InfiniBand was not really supported well in the year 2000 for especially other distributions like Debian-based. So traditionally we are using RPM-based distribution and started, of course, with CentOS. So the first cluster was installed in 2000. It was at the Technical University of Chemnitz, placed also at rank 126. It was just a desktop system connected via Ethernet with Pentium 3 processors and placed rank 126. So was our starting point for HPC, for MEGWARE. And yes, this is the reason why we don't use Debian or Ubuntu, which is coming more famous in AI or data scientists. So we are still using RPM-based distributions. Of course, things have might been changed. Currently, the InfiniBand is supported with the new kernels as well, but many years back, you need to have an RPM-based distribution like Red Hat or SUSE or whatever. Yes, and yeah, there was like a big vacuum chamber after the announcement that the CentOS project will be discontinued because a lot of clusters which we installed are based on CentOS because we are using it at academia or public sector, and they don't want to spend the money for licenses. Of course, they want to spend the money for their hardware, for compute power, and especially for the research, of course. Yes. Yes, there was a big gap and not known which operating system will we use in future. Especially we need to do carefully plan for the next years. We have seen also happy to see all our customers here like CERN or ISO, which we also serve or deliver some hardware. But as we have seen, the system lifespan is normally, let's just say, five years or something like that. And it's always important to do a proper planning for the OS which you install, because switching OS means normally a complete reinstallation of the cluster system. So also major upgrades, even if you have the possibility to do it, is not an easy way because you have so many dependencies. So this means normally a major upgrade means reinstall the new cluster system. And so a proper planning as soon as you install a new cluster system is very important, that you do a proper planning which distribution which you will use, because you have a lot of work afterwards if you have to reinstall. So reinstallation means up to 2 weeks of work, because normally we are doing firmware updates, doing reinstall all the master nodes to deploy the whole system again. Makes a lot of work, so the system is down, cannot doing any calculations. Yes, so this needs proper planning. And sometimes, as we are working strong with our customers, it's always also we gave some hints from customers what we can do. And we were installing a system for the University of Linz. There was a guy named Florian Tischler came to me and said, hey, there is AlmaLinux, I would like to use it, and is it possible? I double checked and said, oh, what is AlmaLinux? I have never heard it. What, Alma what? Yeah, and then we decided to use, there was a little bit postponed the hardware delivery, and I was happy to see that the release candidate was already there, and we decided to use AlmaLinux in release candidate 1.4.8.3, and this was the best decision ever made, because it saved us a lot of work than using CentOS 8.3, because it was already announced that it will be definitely will be discontinued, and this was the birth of AlmaLinux at MEGWARE. So because it was the first there, no any alternatives, and yes, you see, I have copied from the master node. This was still running and could be also easily upgraded to the latest final versions, and still running at AlmaLinux 8.10. There will be a new installation soon. With 10, of course, we are bringing a new master node in, and hopefully everything will work again as expected. Yes, from existing systems, we're doing a lot of upgrading with Elevate, the master node, but just as I already said, minor updates. So this means the cluster has to be at CentOS 8, and so that's easy to switch. But we are normally doing not elevating to 9 or 10 because you can do it for a single server, but for the whole cluster system, it's worthless because you have so many dependencies. Then you can just reinstall the master node and deploy everything again. You need to recompile all the software. You need to check the drivers and everything, so that's not so easy. I think the next big challenge was after Red Hat was announcing that they will publishing the source code. This was also, I think, a big challenging time for all the clones, but we were still on track, and I was happy to see it, that we still got updates. And yes, and I think also the decision for stopping the one-on-one clone was not just a disadvantage, it was more an advantage, because we have the extended hardware support, we have a great communication with all the guys from the AlmaLinux team. The communication is really easy, and we could bring us our ideas. Currently are working on an HPC repository, maybe to put some additional software in it. So that's really easy to bring in some new ideas. Normally, it's just the time which prevent us from doing some ideas into a project. But yes, this is the most challenging thing which we all have every day. Yes, and in 2024, we also decided to become a silver sponsor of AlmaLinux, because we want to support the team, because we feel very, very well, yes, and it's always important to support the whole team, yeah, and they're really doing a great job. Even if we don't need the latest security updates as soon as possible, sometimes because the cluster we are working with local mirrors, because if a disk breaks of one node, it's very important for performance reasons that you have the same software on each node. So we have always local mirrors, and if customers would like to update the systems, they can sync the local mirrors on the cluster system and then doing the update, because otherwise we cannot ensure that the same software is running on all the nodes. And as we have seen in the last days, there's currently a performance regression for AMD CPUs for doing the LinPack, and yeah, currently we are investigating with AMD where the regression comes in, and for us it's important to have the same software level on all nodes. Yeah, and almost all of our cluster installations are running on AlmaLinux. Sometimes we have to use some Red Hat-based solution, because the problem is when we use commercial software, and especially in the industrial customers, they feel safe when the distribution is on the support list, but the reality is if you have a support case, they always find a reason why don't support you. So in my personal opinion, I don't care about the distributions. We always choose AlmaLinux, but when the customer is telling I would drive the safe way, I can just give my personal recommendation, but at the end it's the customer's decision. But at this point we need to work harder that we get AlmaLinux on the official support list of other distributions, especially in the US region. Rocky is very famous. I don't want to talk about the reasons because of this, but we need to push hard that AlmaLinux is getting on this list, that customers feel more safe to use AlmaLinux. Yeah, and if you go to, or if you have a closer look on the website, from my personal view, the real community is AlmaLinux. When we meet at exhibitions, it's like a family atmosphere. We can talk to each other, bringing in some new ideas. It always feels like a small family. And especially when I compare to the CentOS time, it's really outstanding performance in terms of upgrades and patches. New minor releases are released so fast. When you think about a Red Hat announcement of, it was normally delay of months when the new minor release was coming. Here we speak about some days or sometimes hours. Especially what I was really surprised when the new Red Hat 10 was out, that the major release of AlmaLinux was within some days released. And what we also like is that you are publishing beta versions. This is also what not doing any other clones, because we need to test sometimes new driver software already if it's ready for the next upcoming release. So it's also really cool to see that we are already can test with the upcoming Red Hat release. What also we have seen here in many presentations, the extended hardware support. Yeah, especially now with the hyperinflation of DRAM prices, customers need to rethink everything about their investments. And we have different generations of hardware. Sometimes a cluster consists of generations like more of 10 years. So you have very different hardware. And Red Hat is removing in upstream the driver support, just removing PCI IDs, but the hardware is in principle still working. So this is also very cool for AlmaLinux, that we can run the same kernel on all machines, because I remember one cluster system, I need to put some CentOS extra kernel to have the InfiniBand support for older devices. This is really a lot of hard work always, because it should be equal and you need to do a lot of scripting to treat the special cases. And what's also really nice is that there are a lot of additional software repos available. At one time I had a Red Hat cluster, would like to do a high availability, and then the customer needs to buy a lot of additional licensings just for the pacemaker stack. Here you just have some additional repos, and maybe we have also some HPC repo if we have more time in future for the batch system like Slurm or our deployment system. Former release was XCAT or now Confluent. And yeah, and also cool that we have different hardware architectures. So it's ARM-based, so I will talk about, we will have soon a cluster which will be ARM-based, so it's cool that we have the ARM-based repos, and I've seen that the Kitten also RISC-V, because in the European Union there's a lot of discussions ongoing regarding for alternative architectures. Also RISC-V is becoming more and more important, and happy to see that AlmaLinux is also here already on track. And I think also the recent released CUDA 13.2 is really a hard work of the team, that they get the attention of NVIDIA to get on the official support list. As I already told, I don't care, but sometimes customers care, and I need to, customer is king, and when they say no AlmaLinux because of my support list of the software, and yeah, please pushing the companies hard that they add AlmaLinux on their support list. And I think happy to see that we have also our customer like CERN here. I think a major breakthrough for AlmaLinux, especially here in the DACH or EMEA region, was as CERN decided for AlmaLinux. We have also some customers using Scientific Linux in the past, and a lot of customers in our area have seen CERN is using AlmaLinux, and which is even more easy now to convince them from AlmaLinux. So I think this was a really major breakthrough. And yes, we are also happy to see you always here in Germany for the Cloud Fest, and also in the US for our supercomputing conference. We find a lot of new friends from the whole team. Thank you so much. So I just want to show what we have done with AlmaLinux, which kinds of references. We had a lot of placements in the top 500 list. I would like just to highlight some latest projects. This is our vendor share, so we compete with the biggest companies in the world. So we are under the top 10 as a German medium company. This is the last extraction from our current systems in the top 500 list. We have a big GPU cluster here in Erlangen, Bavaria. This is one of the most powerful systems which we ever installed, and some new system, GB200, will be coming soon. So yes, these systems almost already, I need to double check, running at AlmaLinux, except one or two systems are running AlmaLinux. Sometimes it's not working anymore when I go out of the range or something like that. Yes. So regarding the time, I would like to skip some references. Maybe I show you the latest one. This is a direct liquid cooled based solution at the University of Erlangen, a very full, powerful system with a maximum theoretical power of 52 petaflops. And these guys are also very happy and experienced running AlmaLinux. They're doing almost everything by themselves. We have also a central off Lustre-based solution. There we have to use AlmaLinux 8 because Lustre on server side is not ready for 10. So sometimes you need to mix. Yes, this is one of the biggest systems. This is just the GPU part. And there's also currently installed a CPU partition. This is an own solution which we are doing. This is a fully liquid cooled compute platform. We have 12 nodes inside 6U, and every part is directly liquid cooled. So from the CPUs, DIMMs, network adapter card, VRs on the motherboard, everything is water cooled, even the power supplies. Yeah, and currently we have done the LinPACs. It's a theoretical compute power of around about 8 petaflops. Yeah, and also because it's part of the GPU cluster, it's also running on AlmaLinux. And I already told there will be the GB200 NVL4 project. The installation will be in Q3, and happy that AlmaLinux supporting is also ARM-based solution. So definitely decision also for AlmaLinux. There will be, I think, a very big project. It's 650 million roundabout, and it will have more than 1,000 GPUs. So this is the next upcoming project. Thank you so much, and enjoy your food. Any questions before I leave the stage?
I guess not.
Thank you so much, and if there are some questions around, I will be here maybe at the end. I'm not sure yet because I have some appointments also at the Cloud Fest, so it's hard the decision, but if there are questions, I'm definitely here around the lunchtime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter.